Shmuel Hauk.
Did you know that it is possible for a candidate for the United States president can receive the most amount of votes and still not win the election? Do you know that in 2000, Al Gore received the most amount of votes and George Bush won the election? And last week, Hillary Clinton got the most amount of votes and Donald Trump won the election? I'm going to inform you how the Electoral College works, why the framers decided to use this system, and how the system has evolved over the last 220 plus years. First, I will explain how it works. Each state is allotted electors based off of the 2 senators and the members of the state and the members of the House of Representatives for that state. So it ranges from 3 in some states and up to 55, like in California. And the District of Columbia is allotted 3 electoral votes for a total of 538 electoral votes. According to the House of Representatives facts on the Electoral College, a candidate must receive 270 electoral votes. If no candidate receives the 270 electoral votes, then the House of Representatives decides who wins or elects their candidate. 48 of the states have mandated that the electors are unanimously given to the winning candidate from that state, and Maine and Nebraska do it by a congressional district. Now that you've understood how the Electoral College works, I'm going to explain to you why the framers decided to use the system. The framers were trying to give a balance between the big states and the small states, and make the smaller states have a little bit more input compared to the big states. So the first decision was to try to maybe use the senators in Washington to elect the president, but they figured that there would be too much inside deals between the two, and it would affect the balance between the 2 branches of government. The next was they were going to use the state legislatures, but they would figure that the state legislatures that voted for that president would have the upper hand and would ask for favors back from the president. The next thing they decided was maybe to use a popular vote, a direct democracy, but they decided that there's too many uninformed citizens and they would pick the wrong candidate. So the compromise was that the citizens would pick the electors in the Electoral College, and the Electoral College would then decide who would be president. And they took that from in ancient Rome with the centuries, where a group of 100 people would elect one person to represent them in the government for making laws and voting. And like Alexander Hamilton wrote in the Federalist Papers number 68, that the Electoral College is the perfect balance between a democracy and making sure that the best candidate wins. And then it was the Electoral College was put into the Constitution in Article 2, Section 1. Over the past 200 years, the Electoral College has evolved and has originally each elector was given 2 votes, and the candidate with the most votes became president, and the runner-up became vice president. And then in the 12th Amendment changed that, and it made it that each elector gets 1 vote for president and a separate vote for vice president. And there has been some very lopsided Electoral College wins. And like it's according to historical election results in the archives, FDR in 1936 received 523, or 98% of the electors, or in 1984 when Ronald Reagan received 49 out of 50 states. There have been some really close elections, like in 1800, Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr each received 73 votes in the Electoral College, and it wasn't decided until the 36th time through the House of Representatives that Thomas Jefferson became president. And then also like in 2000, when Bush won 271 electors to Al Gore's 266. To conclude, I explained to you how the Electoral College works, why the framers decided on the system, and how the system has evolved over the last 200 plus years. To answer the original question, we saw last week and we saw in 2000 that it is possible to win the most amount of votes and still lose the election through the Electoral College.
Thanks a lot.